Hello guys, and welcome to the channel, the posing channel. Now in front of you, you will see Nightmare Batman. I've had him for quite a while now, and I basically got him at a retail price of 15 quid, reduced from 25. And that's the pose he was in upstairs in my bedroom. And what you can see there, I've got a pistol there from the accessory pack that I kind of created the illusion it's hooked to his belt because there was no holster there, and of course those binoculars. And what I've also done, I've put the goggles around his neck because I like to think, even though you don't see it on camera, that's what you could have done rather than on his forehead. And that weapon is off one of my other figures, a character called Maggot from the X-Men world, and that diorama, as you can see there, is off my Rhino character, which is a Spider-Man villain. So that's not a bad pose that I've had for a while, but I'm going to do a few new ones. Hopefully you'll like them, or maybe not. So we'll go to the first one, and I'll put it on pause. So that's your first one. I've lifted the gun up a little bit higher, as if to say he's taking a aim at a target. I'll bring it in close to see if I can capture that dynamic for you. And I do like that head sculpt. It's not a bad version of Ben Affleck. But I think at some point I'm going to try and get those goggles on his face, because I had him displayed that way for some time. In fact, what I'll do is I'll do that one next. So here we go for the next one. So there's your next one. And there he is with the goggles on. I really do like that effect. I know you don't see it in the movie, but I thought rather than the iconic on the forehead look, it's nice to see him actually wearing them. And I'm going to keep them on and give you another dynamic. So stay tuned. Not so sure about this one. I'll leave it for the jury to decide. Could do with some tweaking. But I won't dwell on this one for too long as we move it along. A little bit better now, things are starting to move along on this. I've got the pistol in his hand along with the binoculars. That's not a bad angle there, straight on. As I said in the past, when I pose figures, I like to get a pose where whatever part of the room I'm in, they kind of look half decent. And I'm quite pleased with this effect. So we'll leave it alone and move on to the next. Here's another one. He's taking aim at his target. Still got the binoculars in his hand. Again, it's one of those things, I could fiddle with this guy for ages because he's very poseable, even with that big coat on. Tried to get him into the kneeling position, but with the big coat it's very difficult. But if I ever achieve it, I will put it on camera. So that's your next one. Let's go to the next pose, see what that is. Not much difference there really. Better as a side profile. I've lowered the binoculars a little bit, and they're there. Got him off to the side so you can see the box he came in. So we'll move to the next one. Got the other weapon back in his hand. This is straight on. Let's see some angles. And actually when I got that weapon off Maggot, which is that one there, to create the strap effect, I just got a bit of string and connected it to the weapon, so it's got that effect that you see in the nightmare sequence of it hanging off his shoulder. And the binoculars are back onto the belt section. Let's see if we can get another angle. That's not a bad angle. Yeah, I'm always trying to think things up with my figures, especially when I get into posing mode. So we'll move to the next. It looks better straight on though. Not sure about this one. Well, I've extended the rifle arm, dropped the pistol arm. Still thinking about if I could have done it better, but that's always the way when you're posing figures. But that seems okay for now. Well, let's move it on. Do like that as a pose actually. I always try and create movement with my figures. Bent the pistol arm, bent the rifle arm slightly, tilted his head slightly. And I don't mind this pose. Kind of works in its own way. That angle doesn't look too bad. So we'll move it on. Not sure about this one, but I thought I'd give it a shot. Tilted his head upwards. I think that effect works better when he's got the binoculars, and you'll see that later. But I thought I'd give it a shot. You get some poses which you call fiddly, yeah, and niggly, and this was one of them, and that was occurring mainly with the rifle section of this pose, because once I had to take the strap off the figure, you know, where it hangs off his body, you have to kind of get it out the way to create the effect, and overall it's okay, not my best. Let's move on. So this is pretty basic for me. It's going to be the last one where you see the goggles on the face, and I will take them onto the forehead. But it's nice to see what you can do when those goggles are over the eyes. I decided to strap the rifle back over his shoulder and slightly behind him. But we'll see what we can do when we get him back with the goggles on the forehead. So stay tuned. No, actually, before I put the goggles on the forehead, I wanted to see what it was like without them. And I do quite like that. It looks pretty good. But they've got to go back there, because we know what that's all about when they're on the forehead. It's the iconic look from the film Justice League in the nightmare sequence. So let's get him back to what we know he looks like. Haven't changed his pose, just showing you the goggles now back on that forehead. Ben Affleck, Batman, and I will fucking kill you. I love that line. So let's get him into a few different ones, see what he's like. So this is the pose I wanted to get him in first when I first got this figure, because when they were reviewing him they were saying you can't get the binoculars close to the eyes. Well, I did, and he is double jointed at the elbows, and I've left just enough clearance so you can see him just about to look into the goggles. Sorry, not the goggles, the binoculars. But I'll push them right close to the eyes to prove to you it can be done. So that's it really. It's pretty close. Not a bad dynamic. I'll tilt the head up because I did do that once and I thought that looked really good. So here we go. There you go. I do like that dynamic. He was in that pose for a while at one point when I had this figure, when I first got him. But it's been a while since I've seen him like this, and it's a nice dynamic. You wonder where that pistol went. It's gone back onto his belt. But yeah, that's the look I like. Okay, let's pause it. Just wanted to see what he was like on the other side with the foot on the diorama. Fiddly diddly, but it's worth it. It's coming from a side profile. Not bad. Glad I brought that diorama into this filming, because it does lift the standard or qualities of the figure. And as you see, you will see my standard props, which are these things, which I'm using as a kind of consistent theme running through my posing reviews. It's just a thing I do. Let's see what else we can get. This wasn't too bad. I put the binoculars into the other hand, which is typically or normally the pistol hand, but you can hold that those binoculars with on either side. But I do like the dynamic. I've tilted his head slightly, he's like he's taking aim. I tried to create movement. In the past, the weapon I had, which has been replaced by this one, was a bigger gun from the McFarlane's accessory pack. But when I tried it, this weapon that you're seeing him with now, I think it suited this figure more. But I always say in my films, if I ever pose Batman with weapons, whatever weapon he comes with, he looks good. So let's see if we can do a couple of more, then we'll wind this up, because we're getting up there in time. I'm not sure what I was trying to do with this pose. It was getting annoying, so I just thought, to hell with it, put it on film. There is slight movement, a slight tilt of the head, but it wasn't what I had in my imagination. Let's see if I can get what I want on film. It's sort of in the ballpark, but it's still slightly off for me. But when I know it, I'll know it. It's better there. But as I pull away, I don't know. It doesn't feel right. Let's see if we can keep going with it. You know when they say less is more, I think that's what I was doing. Thinking too much. So I've simplified it. He's more relaxed, but he's looking up, which is an effect I kind of like. He might actually go back this way into my display upstairs. But I just want to see what he's like with the diorama in front of him. So I'll put it on pause. So, yeah, I like it with the diorama in front of him. And I brought the box that he came with right behind him. Kept his head tilted up. I'm getting tongue-tied today. What am I like? But yeah, I think I'm going to keep him in that pose actually. And let's get some angles to end with. So the binoculars will stay out in that hand there. I'll keep the weapon on that side, strap over the shoulder. It's a simple pose, but I actually quite like it. So I'm going to pretty much end it on this pose. I might try one more with him looking straight at us. Let's see what that looks like, and then I'll call it a day. Yeah, I do actually like that. I think that looks better for me. Coming real close on Nightmare there. I think they did a good job at this level, Todd McFarlane. It's the same now that the franchise is coming to the end in terms of the contract with DC. I know that they're still going to carry on up until like the middle of this year, but Mattel, who are taking over the license, are already making figures, and I actually saw a few of them, and it's as I suspected. They're not quite there for me. I think Todd McFarlane really upped the game in the toy market. I think he basically tried to give us decent quality at reasonable prices, and for whatever reason he's bailed out. It's a shame, because I love Todd McFarlane figures. I think for me personally though, I would have liked to seen a Burt Ward Robin for my Adam West Batman, just to keep me happy, but who knows. And on that note, I'll say thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.